The week before, we got to get into the room, and we could get the paint color picked, and we got furniture, and then we bought a whole bunch of duplicate things for his room there that he had at home. He knew nothing. And then we went to say goodbye to him, and so he kind of looked at us, but then he started grabbing some of the stuff and coming with us. And they were saying, no, 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 these are your things. This is your new room, your new house. And then Jim and I got in the car and we started to drive away, and both of us just did this big, huge sigh of relief.
Well, it wasn't the only emotion. I mean, there was relief that thinking that he was going to have a life, that we were going to have a life, but there was also a tremendous amount of guilt that how could we hand our son over to people that we don't know? You know, it was hard. Harrison was born in 1990. Although autism existed before that, that was the start of the wave.
Back at that time, like, to look into anything, you were going to the library, researching, and I was reading about autism. So I went back and I said, is there a possibility he's autistic? The formal diagnosis wasn't until he was 6. But we knew just after 2, this is what we were dealing with. He loves animals to this day. He's fascinated with animals. When he was little, like, he had little toy animals and he would set them up like in a scene. You know, later you'd clean up and he'd come back, he'd set it up the exact same way. Communication was the biggest difficulty. It seemed like he couldn't hear us.
As a teenager, Harrison started to get very demanding. His behavior, you couldn't predict. If he didn't get what he wanted, he got violent.
He was a big guy. He was like 6 feet and like 200 pounds. It got to the point I couldn't be alone with him. You'd wake up every day and you just felt like you had no life. And then it broke your heart because your son had no life. And you're trying so hard to give him whatever you can, but we were just running out of ideas. We were running out of options, running out of time.
One of the things that became quite clear to us and quite evident is that there isn't anybody lining up to say, if something happened to you guys, we'll look after Harrison, because they could see and know what their lives would be if this happened. So the idea of residential care, because there was a lot of mixed emotions, was that while we're alive, we can prep him for the day that we're not. The group home is funded primarily by government contributions as well as private donations.
But everyone was booked. There was waiting lists.
You know, we had a meeting at a particular organization that recommends residential care. They thought, well, Harrison's not really that bad, until Harrison lost it. All of a sudden, all hell broke loose because this kid just gets up from the table and gets very violent. I just saw the look on all their faces and said, oh, now we get it.
And then we got the magic phone call one day that a place in a group home had opened. It was like winning the lottery.
Once he got into the group home, the violence went away.
He was happier. Like, he now had like something to do. They, you know, have the day program, and in the house, like, he'll help out with, you know, cooking or, you know, big chores. And he had a couple little jobs. He delivers on Wednesday morning Meals on Wheels with the staff, of course. He does music lessons.
You know, he usually comes home once a week, if not once every 2 weeks, and for an overnight.
And then I think he's excited to see us, and he's fine to go back. We have more energy now when you just have like 1 day a week. Like, it's so different than living with them 7 days. Any advice I would give to any caregiver, if there's help, take it, because you can't do it all yourself. Even though you feel it's your responsibility, or if there's help, take whatever you can get, because you'll be a better caregiver.
You will also come to the realization that there's no perfect environment to put somebody like our son in, or whoever. And if you're looking for that perfection, you'll never get it. And it's incumbent on you to work with the people that are working with your loved one to make sure things get better.
It's still an ongoing process. We were always involved.
I mean, one of the things about our marriage is it's a very strong marriage, but most of the people that are in this position, marriages break up.
Actually, we used to talk about this, but not that it was ever going to happen. We'd say, maybe we're best to separate, marry other people, and then we'll just take turns with them. Like, at least then we could do something.
About that. We talked about all kinds
but
of
not
stuff.
and that just wasn't an option. That, it was teamwork, and you just had to keep that going.